Hey everyone. If I could just have a quick moment of your time, if y'all can do me a favor to help grow the channel, if you guys could just hit that subscribe button, leave a follow, share to your friends, but it'd be a pretty big milestone. So yeah, just do me a favor, hit that subscribe, leave a thumbs up, leave a thumbs down, leave a thumb in the old bum. But either way, most importantly, don't forget to suck some titties. Sorry, my voice is cracking. But welcome to episode 310 of the Off and Be podcast with Clint Nelson. I'm your host, Clint Nelson. Don't forget to like, follow, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. But most important, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to suck some titties. And you know who's sucking a big tit now? Imagine having the most eventful week of your life, potentially hitting one of the greatest milestones in athletic achievement, winning the Heisman, and somehow your girlfriend makes it all about her, even if it's not on purpose. So, as you guys know, Travis Hunter, the world-renowned Heisman winner from Colorado, the electrifying wide receiver and corner, and it's going to be a pretty high draft pick and has potential to be a really great player. And I think, unfortunately, like with any great achievements, come with a lot of baggage. Even if it's not what you thought it would be, there's always something that comes along with it. There's something about athletes that achieve the highest feats you could ask. Ask Patrick Mahomes, even Tom Brady in post-retirement, is dealing with, no matter what, you always got to deal with something. But, typically you get some money and, then those problems come. But, oh, man, Travis Kloss is minus the ho-ho, yeah, get it? He needs a gym class here right now. But, yeah, his girlfriend is being heavily criticized by the internet, and deservingly so for the most part, for kind of being a distraction, for kind of making moments that are supposed to be his celebration and kind of making the attention towards her. There are incidents where apparently after a game, I think the last game they played against, I don't even know what fucking team they played, don't really matter, and some about he was trying to celebrate with the team or something, and she was upset that he wouldn't celebrate. She was caught on camera being upset. And then there's other incidents where she, at the Heisman ceremony, is not really, not standing up at the right times, which I'll be fair there. I will give her a little bit of a pass there. Sometimes at these formal events, you don't know when to stand up. You don't know what's the right thing to do sometimes. And people are criticizing, why is she sitting next to not his mom? I don't know. She said there was assigned seats. She came out with a video today breaking down this criticism she's been getting from the world and explaining herself. And all she did was make it worse. Not that necessarily that every point she made was the worst point ever. But she started off swinging. Essentially coming out. Here's the issue. When you put your business out for the world, you don't realize how hypocritical you sound about things. So they apparently, I guess they have a vlog channel or they do something together, and she she put out that he's not her type. I always find that one beautiful. I never understand, what is the point of ever putting out of your partner? What is the point of telling the world that the person you're with is not your type? There's nothing good that ever comes out of that. I understand that can mean it's maybe they don't look like the consistency of people you've been with your life. I understand they may have different personality, maybe different religion, skin tone, whatever. But there's nothing ever good that comes out after you tell people that the person you quote in love with are not your type. I never understand it. There's nothing good that ever comes out of it. To me, and I think the most people, when we hear that, what we hear is this person is kind of, they're not the ideal person I would want to be with, which is kind of crazy to say. Someone who has the status and stature and everything you could possibly want. He seems like a pretty good guy, achieving a lot at a young age, and somehow that person is not your type. It's kind of weird. There's just these weird codes that we kind of read between the lines, and it's almost like you feel like there's an empowerment to yourself, like you're doing someone a favor by giving someone a chance that typically is not your type. But she expounded further, which made it 8 times worse, and said the reason why he is not, because she, quote unquote, doesn't date cheaters, which is like, okay, whoa. Just putting this man's business out there, because apparently there's also, because she put out there that, oh gosh, I feel like a fucking gossip channel. She left him on red in the DMs for 2 months because, quote unquote, he had a girlfriend at the time, and she's not a homewrecker. Well, I guess she went to Moe's and ordered a couple homewreckers because that wrapped up real quick, huh? Only took 2 months to decide to be one, but nah. And it really doesn't make a difference. Guys, just be honest, like, we're going to just say it. Someone waiting 2 months to break up with their partner to be with you doesn't necessarily mean that they're all of a sudden infinitely more moral of a person than they were 2 months prior. Like, it's still the same intention. They just, quote unquote, went through the semantical part of what they were going to do anyways. But whatever. But the worst part is you actually putting that out there to try to make yourself seem better. And then the following sentence say, then I learned the kind of man he is, and he's this amazing, most amazing man in the world. It's like, I mean, kind of buying both ends of the rotten apple there, Granny. And, I think the issue is she lacks awareness of she is making things worse, and it's a cautionary tale of maybe someone that doesn't realize how they're actually coming across and the damage they're doing, because all they're doing is kind of damaging his reputation. She's making him kind of look like desperate. She's making him putting his personal business out there, which you decide to be with someone regardless of you knowing everything about that, so you're no better than him. So don't put yourself like you're in this higher morale when the only thing that changed was 2 months, and all of a sudden all those morals go to the side. Okay. But I think the bigger thing is the optics, right? I'm not someone to criticize relationships and stuff like that. I'm not in a position to, it's not really my thing. I make judgments. Don't get me wrong. It's judgment day wherever I go. But it's people always, if you have to, like, she made I think an 8-minute video. It may have been longer. I watched the 8-minute reduced version of her defending every single one of those situations of how she's perceived to be a terrible girlfriend and this, that, and the other. It's like if you have to defend yourself in multiple instances in a short time frame on top of that, it's not just the optics. It's not just a misunderstanding all the time. You're shitty. You're kind of, I don't want to say she's a shitty person. That'd be kind of harsh. But at the very least, you do not care about public integrity of your relationship. At the very least. You are not aware of the optics of things. Especially with the situation of him being a public figure and the achievements he's achieving on the grandest stage. And I think this is why, maybe at these Heismans, maybe at these awards, there should be no one outside of your actual immediate family, or if you are legally engaged or married. Because we see these drafts, we see these drafts of like them doing the live draft feeds at players' homes, and like the Russell Wilson one where she was so excited thinking she was getting the bag, and then Sierra came along. She didn't even make it to his first contract. Not to make fun of her, but hey, she did it to herself, because her face when he got drafted in the 3rd round, by the way, she really thought like, oh, we're getting this Pat Mahomes money. And little did she know who. Sierra. Sierra, I mean, he decided to take care of, 3 stepkids and, a whole empire before, being with you. But, this is why. Because it lives forever. And whether it's really hard to look past this stuff. And kind of her demeanor of her trying to rationalize everything about how she's playing victim, she's misunderstood. Everyone is making it's like if I go outside and walk to a park and I see a guy on a bench, he shits in his hand one day. The next day, he slashes a parrot's head. And then the next day I go to the park and walk, he's diddling around to some, troll dolls. Maybe I caught him on the wrong day, but there's a consistency of pattern where there's a reason why it looks what it looks. You are kind of like a one-off instance, fine. You could catch someone in the wrong moment. Maybe they're inebriated. Maybe they're frustrated. But a consistency of pattern and what it speaks when something just doesn't sit right with people, there's a reason. We are designed intuitively to, when we see something that doesn't feel right, we feel uncomfortable, we feel uneasy, we kind of feel empathetic towards whoever we feel is being wronged or whatever. And I gotta say, man, I'm not someone to tell someone what to do in their relationship. I just feel it's wrong. I don't know the person. What I will say is all the criticism towards her is 100% warranted. But at the same time, whatever they got going on, apparently, he apparently was okay with her speaking out about this, which is weird. You should never... You can't... Here's the thing, right? You can't put your business out there and then be mad when people talk about your business, but you never clear up about your business. So you make it everyone's business, saying they don't know your business, but you never clarified your business. And now you got no business. And so, yeah, I don't know. When you have to constantly explain shitty behavior, there's a reason. Because you're always doing shitty or very inconsiderate behavior. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to lie. Those are a couple sus tattoos she has. I don't even know, I don't even know her age. I don't even know her name, to be honest. Maybe that's a good thing. She could be like one of these crazy, basketball, jump offs that gets pregnant with, NBA player's baby, but staying in an ex-NFL player's house. Sorry, Tyrod Taylor. But yeah, no, there's these crazy ass stories around. But that's just kind of these high, not status, but these successful fields where the dangers of when you have means, like there's a situation with Tyrod Taylor. NFL quarterback, I think he's still active, but, pretty good career. Overall a backup, but has some years of playing for the Bills and stuff. Pretty decent player. He's with a girl named Draya Michelle. I think that's her name. Who is now with an NBA player, a young NBA player, like in his young 20s, pregnant with that guy's baby, but she's like in her mid to upper 30s. Which goes to show, like, is she really connecting deeply with the 22-year-old? Probably not. I mean, maybe in some ways. But I don't think she's having her spiritual, finding the man of her dreams, But the fucked up part is whatever. But the fucked up part is she is staying in Tyrod Taylor's house, and she won't leave the house. And apparently, even though he owns the bitch, not the girl, the house. That was probably a bad choice of words. Even though he owns the house, he cannot evict her from the property, even though She's carrying someone else's baby. And that dude is living in the house in there. It's one of the craziest things you could ever fucking think of. But this is real life. But yeah, when you get in these circles, this is the danger of when you live in these worlds and you kind of get enamored by they're just soul, like, really honestly, when you look from afar, these are just soulless beings, They stay around, they're comfortable with the lifestyle. They don't even really care who's attached to the lifestyle. It's just, hey, whatever I got to do to stay in. And this isn't just girls, it's guys. You get the Kevin Federlines of the world, going back to the early 2000s, guys who are leeching off, rich, successful women. And people say what they want about Britney Spears' father. I honestly don't think he was any better. They were all shitty. They all took advantage of her. But yeah, these environments, they just attract, the most kind of shallow, the most unethical behavior. Just like, hey, look, if we're not together, whatever. But for to actually rationalize and it legally be allowed that someone stay in my house, a woman that I'm not with, a house that I own, when she's pregnant with another guy's baby who makes more than a great living on top of that, and there's a rationalization behind that, there's something fucked up about that. There's just something like, you say it out loud, there's nothing about that that's right. There just isn't. Like, there's no way you can rationalize that shit being right. But, I don't know. But yeah. Yep. And, I was talking with a friend earlier about this. These baseball, we always talk about there's no salary cap in baseball. I know these are some crazy ass transitions here. It's weird. In baseball, you don't hear about these crazy wife stories and shit. I mean, weird shit happens, just as Ben Zobrist. Or those two Yankee pitchers, I think it was in the 40s or 50s, where they actually switched wives. And it happened naturally. They were both married. I think it was like two pitchers, or it was like two players on the Yankees. It may have been the Yankees or another team, whatever. But they legitimately, they were married. And then they started double dating, hanging out. And then apparently they just gradually switched wives. They started actually liking the other partner more or whatever. And it actually worked out. And both the couples stayed, they stayed with the new, husband. I don't even know how to explain it, They basically just switched and they kind of did a swingers thing, but not like with each other. They're like, you have my wife, I have your wife. And they actually fell in love. And they felt like this is actually more the person I should be with, which is like the craziest fucking shit. That's the craziest baseball thing you have. But that is so baseball. Like that shit. I mean, sports shit is crazy. But, you have these revenues. I think it was like the Dodgers or the Yankees. $650 million in revenue. That's not a profit. That's just revenue, which means that's how much they brought in. Cool. That's a lot of fucking money. So they're handing out these 15-year contracts. They're $750 million. You're like, okay. So we do the math, right? Like literally 1 year of revenue we are going to have dedicated to one player for the next, I will just say Juan Soto's contract, 15 years. I mean, that's a good trade-off, I guess. If that person, because they're probably doing the math, like this person's going to bring X amount of revenue, it's going to all even out. But it's still crazy to think like that one person is bringing a team's decades worth. Like in a decade, one player is going to make a year's worth of revenue, which is like a lot of fucking money. That's actually that's a definite, like, do you think over what you're going to make over the next 10 years is going to be worth 1 year revenue at your place? Like, no. Like, what you make in the next 10 years is going to be like 4 minutes of revenue for your company, when you break it down. Like, even if you make like, let's just say you make $100,000 a year. You make $1 million. If you work at a like fucking big corporation, just say like a Walmart's like these places are probably making that money in like 3 hours a day. Like literally what that it takes that company 3 hours to make, they're gonna pay you in 10 years. Like it's pretty damn cool when you think about it, but it's kind of weird and it kind of makes you feel like, I'm spending 10 years of my life over something that's gonna be made pretty damn quickly. But yeah. Yeah, you know, I gotta say, it's beautiful to be appreciated. You know, appreciation is a thing that's kind of a lost art in not only today's world, but just in proximity to anything you may or may not do in today. I will say this, you know, kind of going off the rails here. Not to go back to my haircut, but you know what? I'll tell you what, some that I got a bone to pick with some people. You sense this passive aggressiveness that you let people down by cutting your own fucking hair like it affects their fucking day. It's like, well, I'm sorry, were you like planning on, you know, saving my hair and selling it in a line for like $200,000 or some shit? I doubt it. But it's weird when like, I literally had some. This is not a joke. I'm not going to say who, when, where, why. But you'll probably fill in the blanks. They literally said, hey, you know, I know she cut your hair. You know, I think it looks I think it looks nice. And they're like, you know, but, you know, you just looked unique with your old look. You just looked unique. It's like I had a bird's nest in the back of my hair. Of course it looked unique. You could plant some eggs back there. Well, not your eggs. This ain't the sperm donor. Even though I'm sure some sperm has gone in, not in my hair, probably hers or theirs. I don't know. Probably actually wasn't even a real hair, so probably not. But it was like this passive, you know, it's a passive knock. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. And they were like, you know, you just won't. They literally said you won't. You know, it was just you. You had that unique look. But hey, you know, I'm sure you had your reasons. And they just walked away. And I'm like, yeah, because I wanted the fucking cut. What do you mean I had my fucking reasons? I want to look like a civil person in society, you know? I was tired of, you know, fucking, you know, it's like washing all that hair all the time is a pain in the ass. But the bigger point is, it's weird when people feel like you're letting them down over something you created, you know? It's, you know, and I compare it to like, when you build your body and it's stronger, and then like let's say for a month you don't work out, or let's say you gain a little weight or you lose a little size or whatever, people are almost like, man, you know, I'm sorry to see that, you know, it hurts to see. It's like, well, it's not your body. Like, what the fuck is it to you? You're not the one that fucking had to work to get it. Yeah, like it's this weird thing where people feel like they're. And it's also like with, you know, going back to athletes with their talent. People always get mad when people feel like are wasting talent. They didn't maximize. It's like, it wasn't even yours to fucking waste. Like, it was that person's potential to waste. It's always weird. Like, it's like, you're not my mom. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? People are like saying like, this person, you know, they stopped working out. What's wrong with them? It's like, I don't know. Balance of life. What the fuck do you mean what's wrong with me? Like, I'm disappointing you because I cut some dead skin off my head. And guess what? Life's fine. You know, it actually feels good to actually, you know, be 3 pounds lighter, but actually 15 pounds heavier at the same time. You know? It's just like these passive aggressive knocks is what pisses me off, you know? It's the, oh, you know, you just look different. It's like, oh, yeah, okay. Oh, you know, it was just a unique look. It's like, not taking care of myself is a pretty unique look. Lack of sleep, unique. Okay. You know what? If that's what's unique out here, I'm good. I want to be like everyone fucking else. You know, regular fucking schedule. Regular fucking hair. Regular tits. You know? What's wrong with that? Jesus. It's like this weird thing. Like, I'm disappointing people by fucking doing simple people shit. Anyone else gets a haircut, it's, oh, wow, you're looking sharp there, Dan. Someone else, loses weight, and they're like, oh, you're looking good, Patty. Clint looks like he's, domesticated, and it's like, what happened? It's like, I haven't eaten, I haven't eaten this morning, Jesus, that's the thing, It's always when you are held to a higher standard, when you have built yourself to a higher daily standard or whatever, people all of a sudden feel this attachment for you to continuously hold yourself to the standard. It's like, can I get a fucking break? Like, Jesus, can I, just, sit around and, jerk my dick all day? It's not a bad exchange. That's what most guys are doing out here. Most guys are jerking their dicks, watching porn. Now I'm over here being a man of God, a man of faith. I'm being a man of faith by trying not to, copy our Lord and Savior, I was giving back because goddamn, my hair grows back real quick. You know what else grows real quick? Rise Kool-Aid, today's sponsor. 20% off if you use the code TITS. O&B Tits. That would be my code name. The next sponsorship I have is going to be O&B Tits. 20% off. I probably just need to get a banner behind me saying suck some tits. I don't know. What's better? Tits or titties? Titties seems more playful. Tits seems forceful. Titties is playful. Tits is forceful. Give me them tits. What the fuck is wrong with me? Oh, Jesus. But yeah, it's weird. People feel like you're disappointing them. It's like, if I'm disappointing you, why don't you just adopt some kids? They'll disappoint you, It's always people that don't have kids that are like, you're disappointing me. It's like, go get impregnated or go impregnate someone. In today's age, you just fucking, apparently you don't need men, Just get a turkey baster and inseminate, Jesus, this is getting graphic. It's like a graphic novel. So, yeah. Yeah. But, yeah. You know how it be. Whew. Gotta say, man. I'm in the zone. Auto zone. This shit is automatic, supersonic. Prize picks, funky fresh. I do think, though, I will say, if I were to go all in, I just want, have you ever fantasized? This is going to get kind of weird. Have you ever fantasized about just going all in on one bet, grabbing all the money out of your account, taking out your 401k, taking out your kids' 401k, taking out your life savings, and just parlaying a 6-piece bet times 1,000, the most absurd stats. Yeah, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, yeah, he'll have a points, rebounds, assists above 60. Yeah, it'll happen. But apparently LaMelo Ball can't give him more than fucking 12 points, huh? It's weird how one person just decided not to want to, give half-assed that night can be the difference between you winning $15 and 170. That's a frustration, That's how you build an unhealthy relationship with these athletes, I like to keep it real, you know what? It's cool, But I have thought about, I've done the math. I'm not going to say the number. If I were to take all the money in my account, every dollar attached to my name, Social Security, all that shit, and just put it on one bet for my life. And hey, if I win it, bruh, I'm going to be good. Because if you multiply it by whatever 6-piece on these prize pick shit, if you pick the demon shit, you're going to go demon mode. It'd be times 180, 190, which probably means you're never going to win that shit. But let's just say 120. Times 120 being conservative. You power play it, go all in. It's weird because even if you flex it and you get 5 of the 6, you get twice as much of what you put in. That is still quite a bit of money depending on how much you put down. That's still double your profit. And so I thought about if I went all in, it's like I win it. I probably don't have to do shit for the next 2 years if I don't want to. Yeah, that may be a bit of a stretch, but you get what I'm saying here. I can make it pass for a while, live decently, go on vacation, take my lady to Dubai, have her see clear water and shit. Grab a fish, make a poke bowl, and then poke that bowl of Cheerios because I'm heart healthy, baby. Honey nut and frosted. Or go to Iceland. They got some cool towns there. But yeah, or lose the bet. Lose everything you have and start fresh and just say, hey, you know what? This could be the start of something new. It feels so right to be here with you. Oh. Yeah, I don't think that works when you get older. That's something you can maybe get away with when you're 19 and shit. Be like, sweetie, I lost it all, but this could be the start of something new. They look in your eyes and they're like, you know what? You're so brave. I'm just so glad of a risk taker you are. You do that shit now, you'll be like, I'm going to give you a pat on the back, grab their shit, and be like, I need something more reliable. It's crazy how things change when you get older. But it's for the better. It stops you from doing stupid shit, But yeah, I do think about that, Just how crazy. It is crazy. We do have a system out here where it's just like literally if you're just willing to risk it, your life can change. Like you could literally just if you just do this one bet and for the next 3 hours stress the shit out of your life while you're watching to make sure, someone's not in foul trouble, Andre Drummond. I'm like, dude, Andre Drummond's getting like 7 rebounds in the first quarter. All it needs is 4 more rebounds. Anyone gets 3 fouls and then they won't put them back till 2 minutes left in the half. And you're like, bruh. But that dude grabs rebounds like Wilt does bitches, I gotta say. That's why anytime Joel gets hurt, Andre Drummond's in, it's a rebound machine. All you gotta watch is how many fouls how quick he's gonna foul out. That's all you gotta worry about. As long as he stays relatively out of foul trouble, he'll get the rebounds. But yeah, that's these crazy things, man. Like, it's crazy that we have something where it's instant gratification, where you can just, if you want to, you can put a decent amount down and literally make enough back to make, like, in most people's situations, a monthly income or 3 months of income, depending on how much you're willing to put down in these high variations of risk. But there's a reason why they're willing to give you that, because you're not going to get it. But yeah. It's beautiful. I think I would be the most relaxed, stressed gambler you would ever meet in your life. Where, you come to me, and like, I don't know, here's the thing, right? I think there's a difference between, like, are you actually really a gambler if you just do online gambling? Because you're not really feeling the interpersonal, like, real life, attachment to losing in real time. It's not like poker. It's not like, I guess, craps. Is that what it's called? Or, playing these card games at casinos and shit. Like, it's not really the same. It's really, because this shit's rigged. It's all rigged, apparently. But yeah, I kind of want to go to Vegas, I want to go to Vegas for the buffets, because I'm hungry. Yeah. I don't know. There's a whole new Bob Dylan movie coming out. No one asked for it, but I guess people want to see it. Can't be worse than the Joker 2. I can tell you that. Complete unknown. Complete. That's the thing, you listen to older music now. Like, I think about, like, the Beatles. Like, John Lennon. Well, that is the Beatles. But, you think of, like, them. You think of, I guess, the Bee Gees to an extent, but not really. You think of just these older, like, 60s, quote-unquote, rock. 50s, 60s rock, where it's kind of blandish. There's nothing that stands out about it. It all doesn't really even sound all that great. Like, even Elvis music is all like, boop, 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 you know? It all sounds cartoonish. Like, it sounds like the lyrics, it sounds like their vocals are so, like, in the background. You could barely understand the lyrics. The instrumentation is kind of basic, but also advanced when you think about the time that this shit was made and how impressive it is. And, you know, there's just something like, even when you listen to old country music, like the Waylon Jennings of the world, or Merle Haggard, or George Strait to an extent. Like, and what's weird is during the phases, George Strait was considered revolutionary. Like, oh, this isn't, the country sound at the time. Garth Brooks came. This ain't the traditional country sound. Then, like, the newer like, it's this evolution of this doesn't sound like what traditional fill-in-the-blank genre is, but somehow it still is, because you know what? We know shit when we hear it. Like, if you listen to the Beatles and then listen to, like, just 20 years later, Def Leppard or Whitesnake or Van Halen or Warrant, Cherry Pie, or you listen to the Rolling Stones, was kind of in that in-between, where I think the Rolling Stones, like, in Led Zeppelin, is like when you start to hear that, like, rock revolutionary sound, where it's like, all right, we're starting to get into more of, like, a real, rock sound. And I'm not a rock connoisseur. this is my observation based off what I've, listened to. I'm sure there's plenty of bands here. Then we started getting into, like, that Metallica, Van Halen, Def Leppard area, where, like, they really just kind of took over, Megadeth to an extent. And then we entered to that 90s where you got the Stone Temple Pilots, Pearl Jam, that grungier type of shit, where it's a lot more, like, in-depth vocals, where, like, yeah, the instrumentation matters, but it's more about, like, the voice that kind of takes over the record. That uniqueness of the voice, the Scott Weilands, the Eddie Vedders, you got these voices that when you think, then you start getting to that kind of laid back Matchbox 20. You get into that Candlebox, you get into that whatever the fuck, not live and a little bit, I'm kind of drawing I guess Nirvana to an extent. Like, then you start getting the late 90s, 2000s, you start getting that Foo Fighters, you start getting, Green Day. Green Day is a whole different thing. I wouldn't even say that, but you kind of get where I'm getting at here. You get that Creed where it starts to become very religious. But yeah, you just get, you go through the phases, and you just, like, if you just visualize it, you see, like, where the focus matters on based off the era. And for me personally, I like that balance of the vocalist standing out, and I like really cool, like really cool guitar solos, So I kind of like that mid 80s, early 80s, where, like, the guitar solos still mattered. Like, where if you were to go see this band live, the guitar solos would just woo. And then, like, everything else worked in unison. You had the power ballads. That's the type of, like, 80s, 90s rock I like. And then you got the very, like, solemn, but the very specificness of the voice that really, when you think of these bands, like, yeah, the music, whatever, but, like, it's the lead singer that is the reason. That when you think of, like, you really could just say Pearl Jam, oh, Eddie Vedder, but even the biggest bands, like the Metallicas and them, like, more of the other band's names than just the lead singer. Like, the lead singer matters, don't get me wrong, but it's really the whole sound that they all contribute to, where it feels like these other bands is led by one man that's dictating the sound, You kind of feel that when you listen to music. And I guess going back to the original point that I completely lost track of. I just don't, I just don't, the Beatles is like laundry. It's like laundromat music, There's nothing wrong with it. It's nice when you're doing laundry. But, I'm not going about my day in, Abbey Road, I'll be frank with you. I don't know many Beatles songs. I've heard a couple, and it sounds like, that type of era, It's very, it's hard to take it serious. And I know they're legends. I'm not trying to, shit on them or nothing. Obviously, it's just not my thing. The same way people say about our music. It's not their thing. I just, it is what it is, But yeah. Jesus, I'm so nasally. But yeah. I think I'm going to end the pod there. All right. But yeah, that was episode 310 of the Office. Oh yeah, by the way, recording this on December 18th now. 1 week before Christmas, 2024 for the archives. At 1:56 a.m. Eastern. But yeah, that is the episode today. Hope you guys enjoyed. That was episode 310 of the Off and Beat podcast with Clint Nelson. I'm your host, Clint Nelson. Don't forget to like, follow, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Most support, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget to suck some titties. Yeah. Yeah. Enjoy your day, night, morning, evening. And here's a quote to leave y'all with. Let the haters hate. But as Glorilla would say, when I wore that thing, I ATE. Yeah. So, yeah.